Hey guys, over the last 24 hours we've had a few people ask if we've had any damage in the Typhoon. So yeah, a little bit. Towards the end of the Typhoon we've pretty much passed the main centre of it and passed by, and this is the back end of it, so still a bit windy, a bit rainy. That tree there started to fall towards the neighbour's house, so I was pretty concerned it was going to do some damage to the neighbour's house. You can see it moving around there quite a bit. We couldn't tie it to these wooden posts because they're just not going to be strong enough, are they, to take the weight of that tree, plus the strength of the wind. There's a metal post behind us. Decided that if we tied it to the bottom of the metal post it would probably be okay, but weren't really happy with that as an overall plan. So we got the car out, put the tow ring on the front of the car. It's only a little car, but we figured it's going to weigh a bit. And then put another rope out to the tree to connect it to the front of the car at the tow ring. So it's still a bit windy. We were getting, when the centre of it was going past, we were getting about 80 knots, gusting to 100, and apparently some places were getting 120. So it's fairly windy. We were getting noises from the old house that we'd never heard before. Things rattling and banging and moving around that didn't normally move. A couple of windows leaking that had never leaked before. So it was fairly intense. Probably the most intense typhoon we've had in this house. So what we're doing here is, as the wind blew the tree, it was gusting, and it would gust the tree a little bit our way. We'd back the car up a little bit. And then as it gusted our way again, we'd back up a little bit more. So try not to put too much pressure on it because the rope wasn't bad, but we were worried it was going to break. So just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more to try and put as much tension on it as we could without breaking the rope. And then off to the left there's a stump of a persimmon tree that we cut down a couple of years ago. And it's a pretty stubborn stump, it's pretty solid. So I tied another rope out to that stump just to give it a bit more support. And as you can see, it's still moving. The car was actually moving around too. The tree was moving around, everything was moving around. But it seemed to have slowed down a bit. So I'm feeling a bit more confident. Although the neighbour wasn't. He was looking out his window and he was looking around the corner and he was looking really worried about this tree leaning towards his house. And of course it wasn't the best weather to be out there cutting the tree down, so the rain eventually stopped, but everything was wet and it was still windy, so the plan was just to stabilise it overnight because we're running out of daylight. So the plan was to stabilise it overnight and then cut it up in the morning. We really wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be falling during the night and breaking the neighbour's house. That wouldn't have been good at all. So some of you might remember this water tank that we put at the side of the house to catch rainwater so that we could water the garden. So that's 500 litres. So what we did was, it was full because it had been raining so much, of course. So we drained it, drained the water out of it to make it, and then put it at the base of the tree on that root ball that was sticking up in the air, and filled it up again. So 500 litres of water is 500 kilo. So we thought maybe 500 kilos sitting on that root ball might help keep the tree stable overnight. So something worked, because the next morning it was still where we left it, which was really good. But we had to get into it because the old guy was really nervous, and of course the day after a typhoon we got no chance of getting a chainsaw, and the unskilled labourer only had a power saw that you would normally use to cut lumber, and dressed wood, you know, and timber, not for cutting up trees, but that's the only saw he had. That and a handsaw, Japanese handsaw, which is pretty good, but only for really thin branches, really. So an unskilled labourer with definitely the wrong tools for the job, but it just had to be done. We couldn't be waiting for a chainsaw, and it sort of had to be done. The guy next door wasn't going to relax until it was done, so just got into it. So it was 36 degrees and 65% humidity. It's always humid after the typhoon. It's always beautiful sky. After the typhoon, it really clears the sky. So the sky was beautiful blue and sunny, but yeah, 36 degrees and 65% humidity. It's fairly humid, fairly hot. So we got it done. It's down, cut into little pieces. Just left a little bit of it sticking out of the ground, so if it wants to shoot again, because it was a beautiful tree. But just have to keep it short this time, keep it low. This is our toilet room, and that's the little fan, that exhaust fan, stopped working. So it was turned on at the time. Don't know if it's just because of the wind. And then this was the back of the house. So this is obviously just after the typhoon. The rest of the damage, just going to show you the rest of the damage. So just pots blowing around. That wire was a cable that was holding the old antenna on top of that building there. That obviously broken it. There's the neighbour's tree. The other neighbour tree has broken and was hanging over our fence, sort of thing. Lid blown off a nice pot there and smashed. Pot itself was alright, just the lid was blown off. That was odd, wasn't it? Downpipe broken. Bit of an eave hanging down. Must have got some special wind going on that corner or something. Just demolished that eave. And this is further down the street. That shed on the right is actually turned over. The whole shed's turned over, and then the other one, the red one, is a roof that's come off another shed, and then the long building there has lost all of its roof on the other side. So we saw quite a lot of that the day after as we're driving around. There's quite a lot of sheds and greenhouses and buildings that had lost their roofs. Lots of signs down like this, big advertising signs beside the road that are just blown over. Oh, this place was a mess. It's an office of some description, and just this end is just demolished. They've given up on it. They're just pulling it down. Going to start again. The rest of it was alright, just that one end just demolished. Another sign, big sign. Sign writers will be busy for a while. Going around fixing all their signs for the next couple of months probably. There's a lot of them. We're not showing all the ones we saw. We saw lots and lots. There's another one. So these guys are going to be so busy. That was actually a very nice neon sign, that one up the top there. Just hanging on now, isn't it? And another one. So again, this is the morning after the typhoon. You can see it's a beautiful day. Hot and steamy, but beautiful day. The sign writers must have been busy. Oh, greenhouse. This was actually a new greenhouse this guy just built. Brand new greenhouse it was. He must be shattered. But isn't it interesting? The plastic's all in one piece. Just the whole thing's collapsed. Isn't that strange? Oh, look, we didn't take this. This is Kansai International Airport. Some of you who have visited Japan would have landed there. It's actually reclaimed land. It's a man-made island out in the ocean, and the sea just came up so high that it just inundated the airport. And this is the parking apron where the aircraft park for people to get on and off. So if you've been to Kansai Airport, you've parked in an aeroplane right there, and the sea's come up and just inundated the airport. Isn't that amazing? First time that's happened, apparently. Anyway, answer to the question is, that's what we had happen. More videos coming soon.